In Amok time, Mr. Spock is running amok. Oh, yeah. Well, this is quite a beginning of season 2. Yeah, I should have mentioned that first. We start off with a little insight into the more intimate side of Mr. Spock. And, well, of course, this is the story about Pon farr and all that stuff, and where we learn that Spock has a lot in common with salmon. Oh, boy, every 7 years he's got to go back home to get laid. Turns out they have arranged marriages while they're children, apparently, and they make the Vulcan mind meld link so that they're, I guess they can read each other's minds on a moment's notice. Gee, that's got to be annoying. So Spock is acting out, and the rest of the crew is beginning to notice this, most notably, of course, Dr. McCoy, and he says, Jim, something's wrong with Spock. What do you mean? It's fine, Doctor. I don't have time for this. But Spock gets really harsh with poor Nurse Chapel, who, yeah, they already kind of did that, in Naked Time, where she revealed she has feelings for Mr. Spock. You know, that unattainable, rather dark, moody, distant man that seems so near yet so far. She just can't resist. And perhaps similar to the relationship she had with her husband, who was a science guy who, sure, he said, hey, honey, hi, everything's fine. Now leave me alone. I got to go work on my sexy androids. Kind of like Reed and Sue from Fantastic Four. But then he froze to death and all that kind of stuff. So poor girl, the next man she falls in love with is Vulcan. And he just shows no interest in her whatsoever, which just drives her insane. Yeah. But poor girl, she's trying to help out Spock, and well, he's all a mess, you know. And there is a scene where he's actually quite gentle to her and rather attentive, and wipes a tear out of her eye and all this type of stuff. It's like, was he getting ready, you know? Because look, the guy is like raging at this point, you know, which is odd, because the idea is that they deny themselves these embarrassing lustful drives, you know, because to maintain their stoic logic philosophy. But yet, in the past season, Spock ran into an old girlfriend, and well, you know they got it on, you know. I mean, when he gets high on the spores. The next scene you see him, he's in that jumpsuit. So yeah, he had to change clothes. Yeah. So you think that would satisfy the urge, and he wouldn't succumb to this the blood fever, as they call it. But no such luck. So he's got to get back home. But of course, the Enterprise is ordered to go to this diplomatic inauguration for some star system that's been at war or whatever, and the Federation is to be there to show its presence and all that, and endorse it and everything. So they're supposed to go there, but Spock really needs to get to Vulcan, so Kirk tries to get him there, but then he's ordered to no, don't do that, you can't be late, you got to be at, well, what was it, the Altair system or something like that. And so, okay. Well, then he learns that, no, you got to get him there. Spock ends up giving orders to go back to Vulcan while Kirk was taking a nap. Kirk's like, hey, what the hell? So he orders Spock to sickbay, and then Bones discovers there's something really wrong with Spock's, metabolism and what have you. He's just constantly raging with adrenaline and stuff, and he says he's going to collapse if this keeps going on, and he won't tell me what it is, but you got to get back to Vulcan. And then, of course, Kirk confronts him, and eventually Spock tells him the whole, mating rituals and all that stuff. And of course, this guy, it's really, I mean, Kirk said there, well, Spock, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. It happens to the birds and the bees. And the birds and bees are not Vulcans. But I mean, it's like he's saying it's about, it concerns biology. And then Kirk's like, what? And he's Vulcan biology. You mean the biology of Vulcans? Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so they have that scene, and Spock has to, come forth, and Kirk promises not to tell anybody, but what do you think? So anyway, they race back to Vulcan, And it turns out Spock's family is pretty important. We haven't met his parents yet. That'll be in a later episode. Boy, just like Sarek, you would think Amanda would show up for their son's wedding, but Sarek, I perfectly understand. He's like, oh, I'm too busy on my diplomatic missions. He's probably over at Altair, and we're not leaving. But it turns out T'Pol, who's this, political bigwig in Vulcan society and all that, and was offered a chair on the Federation Council or whatever, and she turned it down and all this sort of stuff. So they're all rather impressed, So this means Spock is not just any Vulcan, and that gives you the reasons of why everything goes wrong. So Spock's wife-to-be, T'Pring, who, man, pretty hot, and boy, does she know it. And so she's decided she doesn't want all the attention going to her legendary husband. No, she's jealous of that, so she's going to have her dumb little boy toy here with Stan and doesn't want to marry Spock. So she has the right to challenge this and say she wants another man to fight for her, and Spock's going to have to kill this guy in order to get her. So, of course, and then she throws a wrench in it because she doesn't want her boyfriend to get his pretty face all messed up. So she instead, in choosing him to be her champion, she chooses Kirk. Kirk thinking, oh God, Spock's in such bad shape. If I back out, this other guy might kill him. So he agrees to do the fight, not knowing that it's a fight to the death. Gee, you should have told him that. Because, T'Pol's saying, look, you're aliens. You don't have to do it. You can leave. And he says, no, I'll go through with it. And then tells him, oh, by the way, yeah, this is a fight to the death. You can't just knock him out or anything. No, you got to kill him. And then he's like, well, what am I going to do? So, of course, McCoy comes up with the solution, and because of the Vulcan atmosphere, which the air is very thin, and Kirk's having a tough time in the heat and everything, and so McCoy gives him a drug that just increases that, and he basically passes out, but it's such a powerful drug that it assimilates death. So fools Spock, and as the shock of Kirk's death, it breaks his psychosis from the blood fever. And so there you go. And then he confronts T'Pring. What the hell was all this about? And then she explains her motives and everything. And then, from one of the best lines, he tells Stan, he says, hey, she's all yours. But remember, wanting something and having something are not the same. Or no, you'll find that having something is not as pleasant as wanting something. He says, it's not logical, but it's true. I mean, you're going to be so sorry. I know she's hot, but oh boy, is there a catch. So anyway, and so he beams back, and of course he finds out it was all a trick, and then he has this, one of the few times he get, other than when he was high on the spores, where you see Spock with a big grin on his face. And there you go. Everything's fine. T'Pol helps him with the regulations dealing with Starfleet and smooths it over for him because they did violate a direct order to go to Altair and didn't, and all that stuff. But still, I kind of wonder, hey, what was that all about anyway? Well, Spock needed to get some. What? So... But anyway, there you go. You get an insight into a Vulcan ritual and whatnot, and a little bit more into their whole story and what they used to be and what they now become, but they still can't quite shake off their past. They still have to submit to these things. And, of course, McCoy kind of figures it out. I guess it's the price that they pay for all their years of logic. Every once in a while, they got to go wild, and get out of the way. And a lot of things about Vulcan is it's basically Mars, in appearance. So there's that. And once again, in fight scenes, boy, I tell you, everyone else's shirt is fine and of the best quality, but not Kirk's. I don't know how many damn shirts they went through for that guy, but it must have been quite a bit because they tear him to shreds all the time. I don't know. It's just something they thought they had to do. Well, in this case, they were showing just how dangerous the fight was because he sliced through and nearly cut through Kirk there. So I guess that, is more of the point. Anywho, there you go. A very significant show and a good one. It established certain aspects of the relationships between the characters. And poor Christine Chapel, not enough time spent on it. I think this is, and probably obviously in modern times it would have been a more in-depth ordeal there for her story. But Spock should have just screw that to Spring bitch. And marry poor Christine, she makes him soup and everything. Come on. Oh, well. Anyway, that's enough matchmaking. Thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you. Most notably, my comic book over at IndiePlanet.com. Yeah, Night. You'll want to check that out. And you can catch my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, over at RadioMisfits.com. And of course, yes, it's true, you can also watch these videos at BitChute.